Micro lesson, Think Out Loud. What is a Think Out Loud? Teachers and students share their thoughts while reading a selection orally. The best way to describe a Think Out Loud is eavesdropping on someone else's thinking.
Hi everyone, as you saw, my micro lesson is on the reading strategy of Think Out Louds. This is a great strategy that can be used as a whole group or in small groups. It is a strategy that can be used during and before reading. It is a strategy that I believe a lot of us use without even knowing that we're using it. I know when I read to students, I always ask them questions to keep them more engaged and to get them thinking about the story. The purpose of the Think Out Loud is that it is getting students more involved in the reading, and it slows down the reading process so students are monitoring their own understanding of the text. An important part of the Think Out Louds is that teachers need to purposely plan stopping points and to see where they want their students to be thinking. So it does take some planning, but that's okay. We plan for everything else. For my lesson, I chose to use the book The Little Mouse, The Ripe Strawberry, and The Very Hungry Bear by Dawn and Audrey Wood. It is also illustrated by the two. I chose to use this book because it is very vague in detail and it leaves a lot of questions, which I think is great for Think Out Louds because it gets students to think about, I wonder what can happen here. To start my lesson, I would have all my students come join me on the morning meeting or circle time, anywhere that we meet a lot, and I would have all of them sit in the middle. And in the middle, there would be a brown paper bag. I wouldn't tell them what's in the bag. I would start off by thinking, I wonder what can be in the bag. And of course, students are going to give all crazy types of answers, but I will write each of these on the smart board or Promethean board or sticky notes, just so the students can see what answers they're getting. Slowly, I would start to give them clues. Some clues that I might give them is, it's a red item. They're like, what can be red? Is it a red Lego? Is it a fire truck toy? Is it a heart? Then I would have them give them another clue. I would give, it's a small red item that you can eat. Hopefully one of my students would start to think, what's red that I can eat? A strawberry? A raspberry? Hopefully I would get the answer strawberry. And I would pull the strawberries right out of my round bag. Next, I would say to my students, I wonder what a strawberry has to do with our story. And that's just to get them thinking, get them prepared for the story that we're about to read. Next, I would show them the cover of the book, and I would read The Little Mouse, The Ripe Red Strawberry, and The Big Hungry Bear. I wonder what a big hungry bear has to do with our story. And then exactly in a Think Out Loud what you want to do. You just want to read and ask questions, just how you would be thinking them. Another important part of my lesson, I would tell the students that I would be conducting a Think Out Loud with them so they would know. I would say, as I read, I'm going to be using a strategy called a Think Out Loud. You're going to be hearing what I have in my head, and I will be saying them out loud to you.
So for this part of the lesson, I'm just going to read the story, and I'm going to give you examples of questions that I'll be asking. So I would start with the cover page. The Little Mouse, The Red Ripe Strawberry, and The Big Hungry Bear. I would think, I wonder why the author has given the book this title. I wonder what we can learn from the cover. And then we would explore what we can learn from the cover. But Little Mouse, haven't you heard about the Big Hungry Bear? This would be my second stopping point. I will wonder, I wonder if the mouse has ever heard of the Big Hungry Bear. I would also wonder, I wonder what the Big Hungry Bear has to do with this story. boom! The bear will tromp through the forest on his big, hungry feet and sniff, 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 find the strawberry. That would be my third stopping point. Here I would ask, I wonder what's going to happen next. Is the bear going to find the strawberry? Quick! There's only one way in the whole wide world to save a red, ripe strawberry from the big, hungry bear! That would be my fourth stopping point. I would ask, if I was a mouse, would I be able to do anything, and what would I be able to do? And I would wonder why the mouse was hiding under the tablecloth. The end would be my last stopping point. I would think out loud, the mouse is pretty smart to cut the strawberry in half and share it so the big hungry bear could not eat it. I would also think, I wonder what changes if I was the writer that I would make to this story. The last question I would ask my students, just to see what their opinion was to explain what part made them happy, sad, or what part they thought was the most interesting. To close out my lesson, I would just have my students do a story sequencing activity where they would just draw the beginning, middle, and the end. I would also hang up a reading is thinking poster in the classroom to remind students to ask questions to themselves as they are reading.